Practice paper foundation tier. This is paper 1F and it's set C, the non-calculator one. Question 1. Write the number 4002 in figures, simply 4002. Write down the value of the 7 in that number. It's 70 because it's in a tens column. Write down 2,551 to the nearest 100. Well, it's 2,000, but is it nearer 500 or 600? It's nearer 600, so we round up. Write down 25.730 to 3 significant figures. That means it wants 3 numbers, well, main numbers in the number, not including naught, so 25.7. And to 1 significant figure, it only wants 1 whole number, not including the naught, so that's either 20 or 30, and it's nearer 30. Question number 2, reading some scales. The top one, you've got to read it, that is 65. The next one is 160, and the bottom one is 32. Really careful of the bottom one because it goes up in 2s. And the answers are there. Question number 3. How many marks did Ali get in the history test? Look at this key. History is the lighter one, or the white one here. Ali got 12. Dennis in his geography, it's a darker one, between 6 and 8, so it's 7. Complete some marks on the table. Fahad, she got 16 marks in the history test and 11 in the geography test, so make sure that's clear. Again, use the key and shade it in appropriately. Compare the results. The history results were better generally, apart from one of them, and that's all you can say. The history marks were generally better apart from one test. Maybe the history test was easier, or maybe the history teacher's better. We don't know. Question number 4. Barry and Keith are looking at a number pattern. Interesting one, this. Barry says the next number is 8, and Kath says it is 7. They both could be right. If you look at what Barry's doing, if you double it each time, so it goes from 1, double it to 2, double it to 4, you could keep doubling, and it would go to 8. Or Kath might be doing this pattern here. She might be looking at 1 and 2 and 4. So there you add 1, there you add 2 to go to 4, and if you add 3, then you would get 7. So it could be either. The next pattern is you just put 3 extra bits on the end, and completing part C, the number sequence, it's going up in 3 each time. So just keep adding 3 each time for that one. Question number 5. Congruent. Congruent means the same size. So if you look at A and G, they are the same, only G's been twisted around, so they're congruent. And E and C are both rectangles, but they've been flipped around, so they are also the same. Mark parallel lines. Parallel lines are like train tracks, so they'll never touch. They'll keep going. So those 2 sets of lines there are parallel. I put my right angle up there. It could also have been there as well. That is also a right angle, and that is an acute angle because it's less than 90 degrees. Question number 6. Jessica's pay or her income is around £12,000. Right, 10% of it on rent, so 10% you divide it by 10, so that's 1,200. A quarter of it, to find a quarter you half and half again. So a quarter of that, half of that is 6,000, half of that is 3,000. Add them up, and that's what she spends on rent and clothes. But the question says, how much does she have left? So do 12,000, take away 4,200, and you get £7,800. Question 7, a map of Britain. Write down the places of the, write down names of the 2 places that have the least difference in temperature. Cardiff and Edinburgh, -6 and -7, because there was only 1 degree apart. All the others are more than 1 degree apart. Question number 8. Cooking a turkey. It says multiply the turkey's weight in kilograms by 40, then add 30. Well, the turkey weighs 4.5 kilograms. In my head, I'd struggle to do 4.5 times 40. So what I've done is done 4 times 40, which is 160. And the 0.5 times 40, so that's a half of 40, which is 20. Add them up, you get 180. then it says add on 30. So that's why you get 210 as a final answer for that one. Next one, distance time graph. How far had Pauline cycled after 30 minutes? What I did is found 30 minutes and actually drew my line up, hit that and went across, and it is 6 kilometers. After 60 minutes, she stopped for a rest, which you can see here. That's the flat bit. How many minutes did she rest? Well, I looked at it. It's between 60 and 80, so it must be 20 minutes. And how far did she cycle? Well, she went 12 kilometers, sorry, had a rest, then came 12 kilometers home. So 12 add 12 is 24. Question number 10. Few sums here. Work out 41.3 times 100. You move the decimal point 2 spaces to the right, so it's getting bigger. 0.4 times 0.6. Bit of a nasty one. I always do 4 times 6, and that'll be 24. But then think about the decimal points I've moved, because I'd moved it there and there. So you've got to move it back twice. So there and there. So it would go in there, 0.24. Work out 600, take away 438. I'm going to do it the old column method. You've got to do quite a bit of borrowing here. So you've got to borrow off that, borrow a 10, so call that 10. You need to borrow off that, which changes it to 9, that changes that to 10. And now you can do it. 10 take 8 is 2, 9 take 3 is 6, and 5 take 4 is 1. So 162 for that one. Long multiplication, I've used the grid method, set it out like that, add the answer up, 9690. Fairly straightforward. Question number 11. Viv's training to keep fit. You need to read all of the question, and then we need to find out what time she finishes her session. She says she starts the session at 12:30. What I did is just added up all the time. So it says here her warm-up was 10 minutes. Before doing the exercise, she does a warm-up of 10 minutes, so that's that. She does 5 lots of 2-minute walks, because she said she does a 40-second run followed by 2-minute walks. She does that 5 times. She also does 5 lots of 40-second jogging sessions, so that's 200 seconds, which is 3 minutes and 20 seconds, and her cool down period is 10 minutes. Added that up, I get 10, 20, 30, 3 minutes and 20 seconds. So to the nearest minute, because it wants the answer to the nearest minute, which it says there, that's 33 minutes. So 12:30 add 33 minutes is either 1:03 or 13:03. Either answer is fine. To help her training, she's bought some energy drinks. 12 of them cost £9.18. Work out the cost of one of them. So you need the sum we're doing here is 918 divided by 12. I'm going to use the bus stop method here. So how many 12s go into 9 is none. Carry the 9 over there. How many 12s go into 91? Well, in 60 it goes 5 times, so 72, 84, so that is 7, and there is 6 left over. My bad, 7 left over. How many 12s go into 78? Well, I think we just said it's 6 into 72, and that means there'll be 6 left over. So we've got to start putting a point and a naught here. How many 12s go into 60? And it's 5. So the answer is 76.5 pence per drink. You can't have that, so round it to 77p. 77 pence per drink. Question number 12. The conversion graph shows, here we are, the conversion graph between meters and feet. Change 6 meters to feet, go to 6 meters, draw up, go along 20 feet. You must draw this line on the graph or you will not get the marks, because it says use the conversion graph, so you must use that. Change 15 feet into meters, same thing but the other way around. Find 15 feet, go along and come down, and you should have, I got 4.6. The mark scheme says anywhere from 4.4 to 4.6, so anywhere there's fine. Estimate the height of Mount Everest, which is 30,000 feet. Now our conversion graph doesn't go up to 30,000 feet, only goes up to 25. So what I did is found out that 10 feet is 3 meters. So 10 feet is 3 meters. So down here, did a little bit of maths. If 10 feet is 3 meters, to get that to 30,000, I times it by 3,000, so that's that. So you also times this by 3,000, so you get to 9,000 meters, and that is the answer, 9,000 meters. Question number 13, 2 lines of symmetry on here. straight up and across. Do not do it diagonally, because if you get a bit of A4 paper, you cannot fold it diagonally. That is symmetrical. Here's a tiling pattern on a floor. The red ones are meant to be the darker ones. All right, so they shouldn't really be red. They should just be quite dark black. And I've shaded these ones in here as well. So see if you got the same. Question 14. Here's a pyramid, and we're going to draw the net of it. I looked at the base. It's 4 by 4. So there's my base. I'll actually label it for you. That is 4 by 4 centimeters, my base. And these lines come out 4.5 centimeters. So I've measured these. That's 4.5, 4.5, and it fits in quite nicely there. So you should have something like that. Question number 15. Bit of a tricky one, this. Toy bricks come in sizes of 2 by 2 by 2. He wants to build a solid cuboid, so a cuboid's like a shoebox or something. He uses all 24 toy bricks. Write down the length, width and height of one cuboid that he could build. There's a few answers to this. The one he could build is this one here, and I've drawn it. It could be 3 cubes along, 2 cubes high and 4 cubes back, because 3 by 2 by 4 is 24, so all of his cubes are in there. But it does ask for the length, width and the height, not the number of bricks in it. So if each brick is 2 centimeters across, if there's 3 cubes or 3 bricks, that must be 6 centimeters across, 4 centimeters high and 8 centimeters back, and that's where I've got this answer from over here. Work out the volume of your cuboid in part A. To work out volume for a cuboid, you simply multiply the lengths. So I've done 6 by 4 by 8, or any way around you want, 192 centimeters cubed. Question number 16, a pie chart. 5 students said walking was their favourite holiday. First thing I do is write in 5 in there. How many people took part in the survey? Well, if 5 people in walking is 30 degrees, then I can work out that one person is 6 degrees. So if each one person is 6 degrees, do 360, because that's the total number of degrees in a circle, divided by 6, and the answer is 60 people took part in the survey. She's going to choose one of these students at random, write down the probability that student's favourite holiday is cycling. Right, you need to know how many people like cycling. This is quite easy. You look at walking, it's 30 degrees, cycling's doubled to 60. So that must be 10, and we've just worked out that 60 people, so it's 10 over 60, which you can simplify to 1 over 6. So 1 over 6 is your answer. Question 17. Postman delivers some mail. Basically write 45% as a fraction and simplify it. Percent, it means out of 100, so 45 out of 100. 5 goes into 45 and 100, so 9 over 20 is your answer. Each house number on one side of the road is an even number. The postman delivers to houses from house numbers 308 to 400. Work out the greatest number of houses between these. Now, they're only the even numbers. So he's visited 308, 310, 312, 314, and so on, till you get to 398 and 400. If you count all that lot up, it is 47. This sort of question is worth leaving to the end because it's 2 marks, but it can be quite time consuming, but it's worth doing just to make sure you get it right. This next question is a little bit bizarre. On the opposite side of the road, each house number is an odd number. The postman delivers mail to n number of houses on this side of the road, and it says he starts delivering mail to house number 321 and 323 and so on. So an expression in terms of n for the least number of the final house, it works out as 2n take away 1. It's a bit of sequence work in there. It's quite a nasty question. Question number 18. Village fair. Fill in the grid. So I just filled my numbers in here, fairly easy. You add them up, so that's nice, easy 2 marks. This next one is a little bit tricky. Part B. During one day of the fair, 360 people play the game. Does his stall make a profit? And it says here that if you score 7 or 8, you win £1, or if you score 9 or 10, you win £2. What you've got to do is work out how much money the stall would make altogether. So it's 50p per game. So 360 times 50p, £180. 1 mark for that. That's how much they make during the day. So let's see what they pay out in prizes. So The probability of getting a 7 or an 8 is up here. So it's, how many 7s are there? You've got to count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4 7s, and there's 3 8s. So that's 7 over 24, because that's the highest, that's the total number of scores. There's 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. So to work out how many people you'd pay out, you'd find 7/24 of 360, which is quite a nasty sum. But see how many 24s go to 360, then times it by 7. And times that by £1, because that's what you win. And you should get £105. Similar thing for the probability of getting a 9 or a 10. You need to count up how many 9s or 10s there are. Well, there's 3 of them. So it's 3 over 24. You get another mark for saying the probabilities. So 3/24 of 360. Then you need to times it by 2, because it's £2 for a win is 90. Add them up, you get 195. So if they pay out, we estimate they pay out £195, they'll make a £15 loss. Question number 19. Solve this equation. X over 3 equals 7. So what number over 3 equals 7? It's 21 divided by 3 equals 7. If you want to solve it algebraically, you want to get the x on its own, it's being divided by 3, you could multiply both sides by 3, which would just leave you with x equals 21. Next one, solve this equation, which I think you've got to do algebraically. You can see I've written it out underneath. You've got to multiply out this bracket here. So 6 times x is 6x, 6 times 1 is 6, you put the minus number in. I want to get rid of that minus 6, so I added 6 to both sides. So that's 2x add 10, because it's before I add the 6, equals 6x. I want to get the x's on one side, so I took these 2 x's off to make that nothing, and take 2 x's off this, makes it 4, so you're left with 10 equals 4x. I want to get the x on its own. It's being multiplied by 4, so divide both sides by 4, so x equals 2.5. Question 20, finding out the area. I split this up here, which I think is a logical thing to do. Then found out the area of this rectangle, which is 9 centimetres by 8 centimetres. That's 72 centimetres squared. This triangle is a little trickier. You need to find out how long this length is here. If the whole lot's 20, and we're told that this is 8, then this must be 12 along there. So that's why I've labelled it 12. And the height, all of it is 9. Well, if that's 4 there, then this bit must be 5 to make up to the 9. So what I've done is, I've turned it around this way. If you look at it like this, I think 5 is my base and 12 is the height. So I have done base, which is 5, times height, which is 12, divided by 2, which is 30 centimetres squared. Then I add the 72 to my 30, and the total area of the compound shape is 102 centimetres squared. Question 21. Gordon is going to open a restaurant. He wants people to eat out. Write down 2 things that are wrong with this questionnaire. How often do you go to a restaurant? He needs to give a time scale, for example, per week or per month. So that's one thing wrong with it. What else is wrong with it? These response boxes are a bit vague. Never, so it's quite obvious, that's none. How many times is sometimes? Is it once a week, once a month? Could be once a year. Often that could be every day for some people, it could be once a month for some other people. So you need to say things, the response boxes should be maybe 0 times a month, 1 to 2 times a month, and 3 to 4 times per month. Design a suitable question Gordon could use to find out what type of restaurant people like. So it's slightly different. So the obvious question is, what type of restaurant do you like? And I've picked a bit of a variety. I've said Indian restaurant, fast food restaurant, Italian restaurant, Mexican restaurant, and other, because I might not have included a pub restaurant or fish and chip restaurant or something along those lines. Gordon asked his family, do you agree that pizza is better than pasta? Right, this is not a good way to find out who might use his restaurant. Why? Pizza is better than pasta. Do you agree? In it, he's making a statement that pizza is better than pasta. So that's what we call a leading question. Also, if he's only asked his family, unless he's got a huge family, he's not asked enough people. You need to ask, I'd suggest, at least 50 or 100 people for that. Question number 22 is here. He buys a garden spade. So the spade is £19.50 at 20% VAT. So I broke down 20% into 10 and 10, which I can work out, because you divide those by 10. So that's 10%, that's 10%, so that's 20%. And because it's plus VAT, really important, You can't stop there. You need to add it on to what you had. It's 1950 at £3.90. So the spade is £23.40. Next one is making compost, and it's a ratio question. The way I do it, it's mixed in the ratios of 3 parts to 1 parts to 2 parts. So that's 6 parts altogether. So you do 72 litres divided by your 6 parts, and that tells us that 1 part is 12 litres. So 12 litres is 1 part. Leaf mould is the last one, so that's 2 parts. So you need 2 lots of your 12, which gives you 24.